This week on 4K Kings, we'll be discussing Warner and Zavvi teaming up to start a new 4K label. There's some Criterion announcements, an Exorcist 50th anniversary, 8 Mile. We'll be reviewing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Videodrome, and we're going to do our very first tier list this week, dabbling into some horror box art for the Halloween season. Are you excited, Matt?
I can't wait.
I can.
And we're back. Welcome back, Russ.
Welcome back. Who are you?
My name is Matt, and this is Russ, and welcome. We are your 4K Kings, covering physical media, covering movies, movie reviews, recommendations, and so much more.
Tier lists.
And don't forget our new patented tier list, which we are definitely the first people to do.
Yeah, I think once we debut this tier list, it's going to catch on.
Yes. If you are new, welcome back. Or not, because that doesn't make any sense. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. And a quick thank you to everybody that has been commenting, supporting, giving us likes and thumbs ups, and all kinds of other things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate all of that good stuff. Don't forget, we have our Subscribe for Drive giveaway. Russ, what's that all about?
Well, Matt, the Subscribe for Drive giveaway is once we reach our goal of 2,000 subs, we will go back to our initial Drive Second Sight video and pick out our favorite comment, and that person will receive a free, sealed, out of print, Second Sight edition of Drive on 4K. So all you have to do is subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Go to our original Drive video, leave a comment. If we feel it is the best of the best, you could win a free copy of Drive.
Awesome. Sounds cool. Yes, definitely. Leave a comment. Do you have a bluray.com account? Drop a, little, what am I trying to say?
Drop a comment.
Drop a comment on there.
Spam them.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, yeah.
Be a walking advertisement for 4K Kings.
Yes, please. Share a link, share anything that you can. Try to get it out there as much as possible. We're trying to get to that number, and as soon as we do, we'll be able to send your way. Well, it was sealed, Russ. We left it sealed.
Of course we left it sealed. We're not monsters.
Last week, we covered Roadhouse in 4K, Rocky in 4K, Carrie in 4K. We reviewed Army of Darkness, Fright Night, and Halloween 6 through 8. That was pretty daunting, by the way. And we also gave our A through Z horror recommendations. I hope everyone enjoyed that segment. I don't know if anyone got a chance to check out any of the things that we recommended. If you did, let us know. Tell us what you thought. Let us know what you thought about Extra. And this week we're going to be covering more Blu and 4K announcements. Zavvi and Warner Brothers and Vice have launched a new label. We review Videodrome. We're going to be reviewing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. We're going to be ranking some horror alternative box arts. We always are, talking about box arts, what we do and what we don't like. So now we're going to really put that to the test and share in a ranked tier list, as I said before, that no one has ever done, and we are the first to do. It's patented and trademarked. We're going to do that as well. But before that, updates. A lot of updates. Now,
lay it on me, Robert Stack.
So since we got together last, and like I mentioned, we reviewed Halloween 6 through 8, and that same week, Halloween Ends released in the theater.
To rave reviews.
And I just wanted to stop and talk about it for a second. I did not see it. Russ, I know you didn't see it either.
I haven't watched it yet, though, but I'm...
You have watched it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet.
I trailed off. I had nothing to follow up that sentence with. I'm sorry. I haven't watched it yet. I plan on maybe tomorrow. But neither of us have watched it so far. But when we put our Halloween video up, some people were commenting on there that they felt like now this is ultimately the worst sequel ever made in this series, because we were giving the other 3, 6 through 8 a little bit of a hard time and saying, are these potentially the worst in the series? But apparently not. It is apparently this. And I guess just some of the gripes that I saw, just on a very surface level, I don't know really any spoilers, but Michael Myers is not nearly in the movie as much. He's kind of like stuck in a sewer
for much of it. There's sort of like a new
Stuck in a sewer.
Yeah, not like maybe stuck, but that's where he's residing during the proceedings. There's maybe a new villain sort of character that this movie's a little bit more interested in following.
Well,
and
good,
kind
because
of
nobody
punctuates.
watches. Yeah,
He kind of punctuates it a little bit. Michael Myers does, but I don't know.
nobody watches Halloween for Michael Myers.
Well, apparently,
We're interested in great dramatic character work and new villains.
new villains.
New villains.
Is there a new villain every?
This is
other
the
movie?
Halloween cinematic universe.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's been labeled as the worst possible way to end this trilogy, if that's even possible. Then, therefore, labeling this trilogy to be one of the worst elements within the whole Halloween universe. Again, I don't know anything. This is just what I'm gathering.
It already was before it ended. I think the Halloween 2018 and Part 6, Curse of Michael Myers, are the two worst in my mind. Halloween
haven't seen
Kills
this yet.
I haven't, and Halloween Kills was so bad that it was funny. It crossed the line into comedy, so I can ironically enjoy it. I'm intrigued to watch this because I want to know what everyone unanimously decided was a bad Halloween film, because I remember a lot of people praising the 2018 one, and I thought that was straight trash.
Yeah, you know what's interesting too? I think you kind of alluded to this when you were talking about Halloween H2O, but that every time a new one of these comes out, it can alter like what is like the worst and versus what is now considered good. Like at some point when like 30 Halloween movies have come out, maybe Halloween Resurrection will be up at number like 6th in the list, and it won't be so horrible.
It may be 6th on the list already.
Maybe. Who knows?
It might be.
But I don't know. I feel like just hearing how people are like, oh, this is now the worst. Like every time a new one comes out, like, oh, this is now the worst. Some of these older ones are now, their stature's rising, baby. They're on the rise. They're kind of thanking, who's it? David Gordon Green?
Yeah, and that's sad because I actually was a fan of David Gordon Green before he started doing these films. He has a film I really enjoy called All the Real Girls. George Washington. Yeah, his first two movies. And if you would watch them, you would never guess in a million years he'd end up making Halloween movies.
Yeah. Well, now he is. And now it's already been announced in 4K in a exclusive steelbook at Zavvi. They got a blue one, or they got a red one. And you can get these now for $38 if you are so inclined, which I'm sure people who even hate this are going to have to buy because they collect all Halloween steelbooks, or they're collecting the whole series, or, you know, whatever it is, which you're getting them for $38. There's already 4 reviews for a total of 3 stars. What are the reviews saying here? What do the 3-star reviews say? Let's see. Stunning and disappointing. Saw the steelbook pop up before seeing the film and pre-ordered straight away. Absolutely love the design and black and orange color scheme. Sadly, after watching the film, I was left disappointed in the film. They messed up so bad. I'm thinking of canceling the steelbook, but I love the design. So 2 stars for the movie, not the steelbook. I feel like that's disingenuous.
He's going to pay $38 for a design.
Yeah, Ryan. That's disingenuous. Evil never dies. It just changes shape. Who else gave this a bad thing? Different, conflicting. I don't know. People aren't liking it, but there's always also the possibility that these 3 are going to get their own trilogy box set, and
Of course they will.
But will Scream Factory do that? Do you think Scream Factory will delve into these ones? Why not? Right?
Might as well.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think they have already teased like a standard, not Scream Factory themselves, but, you know, like, let's just bundle all these together. But I wonder if they'll ever make their way into a ultimate box set. I'm not sure.
Well, the brilliant thing about that in this series is that you can do so. You can even put out the 2018 one, just do some artwork that's vague, and you'll confuse people into thinking they're either buying the original or Rob Zombies. I mean, it's...
At this point, it's kind of hard to remember.
And then you have the completists.
Like, some of these names, it's like, which one was his? Whose?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's getting to a point now where it's just, who knows?
And when will it be back?
You're just gambling whenever you buy a Halloween movie.
Pretty much.
To answer your question, though, I think when they inevitably retcon this or reboot this, get rid of Laurie Strode.
Yeah, it's tired.
It is. I who cares at this point? I mean, she's been... This is the 3rd reboot of her battling him. Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't care.
No.
Can we all just come out and say it?
No, she's just paycheck
care.
time.
Yeah, she's a very nice woman, I'm sure, and she's out there selling it and being professional, but she does not care. And who do we care at this point?
No.
I mean, come on.
The people that are watching, that are old enough to watch Halloween movies now, they haven't probably seen the original Halloween. They're looking at this old woman. It's like they want their TikTok friends up there. That's really, now I feel like, okay, boomer, but still.
They're TikTok friends.
They're TikTok, like, like cast members,
the
like
TikTok
up there.
people.
You know what I'm saying? Like how, like that.
It's so foreign to me. I don't understand.
I mean, they kind of have that already.
Halloween Resurrection was very futuristic, though. It involved the
MySpace.
internet.
A live chat, streaming.
It involved AIM.
Well, Halloween ends. Let us know if you watched it. Let us know what you thought. I'm never going to see that, but Russ, I can't wait to hear what you think and where you put it on the scale.
Honestly, I'll probably forget to tell you.
He like shrugged.
Dude, I'm walking into this as if I'm going to be watching paint dry.
Right.
You
just have to watch
zero expectations.
But you have to watch it. Would you ever not watch one of these?
If I don't end up watching one of these, I don't care. I just always end up watching them because there's no commitment involved.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, I'll throw this on. I'm sure it sucks if I get distracted. Who cares? It's not like I'm sitting down to have like
you hear
this
that,
great
David? You hear that, David Gordon Green? Do you hear that? Do you hear that review? That pre-review?
He knows it. I feel like he made the movie for it to be that.
For you to be on your phone?
So it can debut on Peacock and theaters simultaneously. Like, that makes any sense. I mean, yeah, the whole thing. It's just one big clusterfuck of meh.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, enough is enough for me with Halloween. I think if you check
enough
out, enough is enough.
Part 17 is where I draw the line.
Yeah, that's it. The best Halloween there is our Halloween video. So go check that out.
Take that, Carpenter.
Take that and let us know if you saw it below. But another update, which again we can't go a week without, is for Reservoir Dogs in 4K. And I actually forgot to mention this the last time we were together. Not that there was information already available, but just a thought that I had now that they are released in 4K. That just kind of opens the doors then for other companies to make whatever packaging that they actually want. Like we're sitting here like talking about, oh, the box art sucks, the steelbooks suck. But now that the discs have been made and the discs have been, authored or whatever, now whatever company, like Zavvi, like anyone could just grab those discs and make their own packaging. So maybe one day we would get the box we really liked or wanted. Maybe this isn't the end of it. So I forgot to mention that, but it turns out someone has already started that trend in Germany. It's some company, Plyon. I think I'm saying that right, Plyon Pictures. But they're putting out their Reservoir Dogs Collector's Edition box. And in this mock-up, the box itself looks rather big. Now, it does have the standard art on it. So right off the bat, you're not getting the classic art or anything that's changed. So you still have to love the way the Ocean's 11 box art looks. But in terms of the box itself, it does look really nice. When you go on the back, it's got a little quote on there or whatever. They like to do that shit. But then when you open it up, it's got the missing ear steelbook, which gets slid into that bigger box. There's a booklet. There's art cards. There's that Tarantino First 8 documentary on Blu in there. There's 3 posters.
Is that the one that's in the box that I have?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 3 posters, a K-Billy keychain, which I think is kind of a cool touch. That is like their version of a collector's set. And I think the package itself looks really nice. The 3 posters look really nice. I think my beef still is that it's coming in this red and white art scheme.
You don't like the Ocean's 11
I
cover,
don't.
huh?
I don't. If this box right here was the original art, I would have thought to myself, maybe this is what I'll just grab, because everything's in English, even though it's a German company. There isn't anything on the box that is in a different language. I'm not sure. I can't really tell in this booklet, but that's probably in German, I got to imagine. But everything, like this looks great, I think, except for the fact that art is there. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, this is coming out December 1st from Plyon Pictures in Germany. And I just wonder if we'll see other stuff like this crop up, like a Pulp Fiction from a Zavvi or somebody. Because Inglourious Bastards, they did it Zavvi.
Yeah.
Remember? There was like 3 different versions of that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
What? What?
I mean,
what's your thoughts?
It's just a bigger box with the same Ocean's 11
right,
artwork.
right. That's what I mean. It's like I like what's inside. I wish the box art was different.
What is this retailing for? I'm gonna guess $149.99.
Let's find out.
Or was it even up yet?
$60 because euros are pretty much a 1-for-1.
All right, that's not a bad price.
No, $60.
That's a pretty good price. I was expecting it to be double.
Yeah, no, that looks pretty good. And I don't know, does it say anything about the quality of what the box is like? But maybe it's a clasp, maybe it's a clamshell, maybe it's a book. Who knows, Russ? But just wanted to throw this out there as saying like maybe for everybody like me who isn't getting the art that they really want, maybe there's going to be something down the line that we can, hope for because it's already, starting to happen.
I'm sure it will with these titles, at least with Reservoir and Pulp.
Yeah, especially for the ones that I want to get solo releases of if they don't ever put a box set out.
They won't.
Maybe they will. And then the last just really quick update involves Paramount, which we, did a whole segment to them last week as they continue to just put out their Blu-rays, 25th anniversary, 30th anniversary Blu-ray, and then like 8 months later, it's that exact same thing in 4K. And I paid them one small compliment that I'm now going to rescind.
What compliment did you give them?
The small, well, maybe it wasn't, maybe not.
Don't encourage them.
Maybe not a compliment, but what I did say about them was when we talked about their Planes, Trains, and Automobiles rehash, that they actually included some additional Blu-ray discs that had like over an hour of stuff, which wasn't just, like everything carried over 8 months later. They actually were giving you something new. And I commended them for that. Maybe it wasn't a compliment, but I commended them for that. And for the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, they had originally had this Blu-ray Steelbook, which was like them sitting in the airport. And now this release that we were talking about, it's like some different box art altogether. But they weren't doing the Wayne's World thing where they were just rehashing the tin or whatever, the Steelbook. Well, that has changed because now they're doing that exact same thing. So if you thought you had an exclusive Steelbook for this movie, all you Steelbook heads out there, you don't anymore because now the same one is going to be re-released in 4K. So again, Paramount doing their same old thing.
This is only in Europe though?
This is a UK for now. Yep. So anyway, I just really like to shit on Paramount. I don't know why.
You really do.
They just piss me off. Like some of this stuff just sucks. I don't know. Like if I bought the Steelbook and then that 4K one came out, at least to be like, okay, well I can buy that and have the 4K upgrade, a new box, a new disc, and that's great to own both. But now if I want, if I really like this, I don't know, it pisses me off, Russ. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. I was picking up neither, so I have no dog in this fight.
All right, well, let's move along to the main news of the week. The first thing that I just wanted to touch on and cover is a new label that I saw crop up from. Initially, I saw it advertised from Zavvi and on their Instagram and on their website, and I actually thought it was just a Zavvi thing, but it is actually Warner and Universal have teamed up with UK distributors, mainly Zavvi, but also it is going to be released other places for this series called The Film Vault. And they've announced 4 titles so far.
All 4K?
Yep, all 4K. Goodfellas, Blade Runner, Scarface, and 1917. They are 3,000 items each, and this is basically a situation where it's packaging only. Like they're not, breaking any new releases, they're not doing any transfers, they're not providing any new special features to my knowledge. It's really just about getting a new packaging option out there, which does have its own spine, or obviously its spine, but its own number, artwork, whatever. So you've got these numbers now, kind of like a Titans of Cult, kind of like, a lot of these companies that have these numbers on the spine. This is encouraging you to follow along and keep up with this series of releases. But these are the 4 that they've got so far. Now, what I will say about this, I've got some positives and some negatives. The positives I feel like are that they are really setting themselves apart from a packaging perspective from what Zavvi normally does. Kind of, similar to like what Arrow or whoever does, like a harder outer box, disc goes inside, then the posters and everything kind of slide in there together. Mm-hmm. This is, as you can kind of tell from this picture, it's a little bit of a bigger box. And so it's housing everything inside, but the way that it does it is from a magnet clasp opening, which is...
So I'm saying it's giving me the vibe of a NECA toy box. Does it open like that?
Yeah. So like it's got a magnet clasp. Like imagine like those VSUs or whatever. It's got like a magnet opening, and then you open it up, and then everything's on the inside. So the outside box...
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's unique. It does set itself apart a little bit. So it's very large magnetic clasp, and then there's like a clear slipcase that slides down over top of it, and that clear slipcase has the Goodfellas title on it, the ratings numbers on there. It's got the actors' names, all that kind of stuff. When you pull that slipcase off, then you just have the art underneath before you do any of the opening. So
is the white on the spine, is that on the slipcase? Because actually, when you go back to that one picture, it looks like it's black on the side.
I'm actually
like with no titles and no writing almost.
let's actually have like a little video here, Russ. Would you like to take a look at it? So this is the Goodfellas one. And yeah, the Film Vault, limited edition 4K range. And they're teaming up with Vice Press or some their group of artists to do all these original art for all of these releases. I think that Matt Ferguson and Flory.
Look at that knife Pesci has. He's Michael Myers. I don't remember the knife being
so
that
an
big.
acetate slipcover removes the type for a type-free display. Then a rigid clamshell box with a magnetic enclosure. Then there's like a package that comes out that's got all of the like posters and cards and things inside. So that comes out, and then they're all a little bit different depending on what's inside. Some of them have different things, but they all usually have this sort of configuration. The discs are kind of like in a CD shape box. And they have this like crystal thing for you. It's a little excessive.
Cutting the garlic or the onions.
Yeah. So it's like a CD shaped like digipack that has all the discs in there, but before you can even open that, there's like an O-ring that slides down over top of it. See that Goodfellas thing? That slides down over it. So everything's kind of like inset inside of these magnetic clasp giant like boxes.
Well, the reason why I brought up the slipcase, and yeah, it does look like these. First, I'm getting vibes of the Arrow UK releases that they used to do with the white boxes. That was just my initial thought.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I think I like it without the slip, and that's very rare. I'm usually a slip person, but when that slip, especially on the Goodfellas one, when that slip comes off and it's just a black looking case and book with no writing on it, with that image of them, the beginning of the movie where they're killing what's his face.
Yep.
That looks nice. I actually don't like the slip on it.
Yeah. So I think that's something that I felt as well. I think my only issue. I guess my only issue with that is I like that slip takes nearly everything off. I personally like the title of the movie on the box. Like I think if it just said Goodfellas and that's it.
I just don't like the white though.
And all that other stuff. Like I feel like that's the only thing that I'm disliking. I'm with you though. Like taking that slip off. Like if I just wanted to present that on my shelf somehow without the slip, I could. But I just wish it said the actual title.
And I'll say this: out of all four of these releases, I like the artwork for Goodfellas the best.
You like?
I don't even think I would guess that's Blade Runner if you showed me that cover.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little different. And same thing, the Scarface one. He's not as like all the Scarface posters. You see him front and center. He's a little bit further in the distance there.
Yeah, that almost looks more Godfather-esque to me than Scarface.
True. Yeah, and I kind of I think the price of these is about $63 before shipping.
I have to admit, I was expecting more there as well. They're coming out with some reasonable prices in the market these days.
Reasonable prices, yeah.
Are these Black Friday prices, Matt?
62. They are not. So here's the Scarface one. Again, it's kind of similar stuff. You have these headshots of all the characters. You've got some postcards. You've got. Doesn't look like this one comes with a poster, but what I did see in some instances, like Blade Runner, I think is one of the examples. In some of their prior releases, there's like 3 or 4 discs because there's so many cuts of this movie. Whereas here, you're not getting all those extra discs, so you really have to pay attention to what you're being provided in the package here before you go and buy. Because if you're looking for the ultimate, collector's edition of Blade Runner that has all 5 cuts, or there's maybe something to do with if there's something to do with Scarface, I'm not sure. A lot of these, they're just coming with whatever they see fit to put in there.
And if you're a Blade Runner fan, you should know that from the gate.
Yeah.
You should be accustomed to having to research every edition you buy because of how many billion cuts Ridley Scott has laying around of that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't think this is bad. I'm curious to see what else they put out. None of these are grabbing me to buy like right away. And I wonder, I kind of wish a new boutique label was being announced that was going to do something with film and this rather than just another, packaging opportunity, which I guess at this point, maybe it's getting to that point more than it has been. And maybe that will be the point much further in the future where the media side of things is going to have run its course because they're not going to keep redoing these 4Ks if that's as far as it goes. So what they're just going to keep doing is reintroducing new packaging. Yeah, to try.
And then inevitably,
it's like more the physical side instead of the media side.
And then inevitably with 3D printing and all that, it'll become an even more niche boutique thing where collectors themselves are going to be selling their own packaging. Or we'll live in a world one day where we'll be creating our own personal packaging, and it'll just be an extension. It'll be fashion. It'll be how we
display it on ourselves.
Yes,
and then we'll sell it. 4K Kings packaging.
A chain with the Scarface 4K hanging on it. That's exactly what I was getting at, man.
Yeah, look for the new.
It's the future.
Look for the new 4K Kings box art and packaging coming soon.
Yeah, walking around like Flavor Flav, just with a fucking 4K disc. That's great. We should come in here all the time and do that. Dude, let's get chains and just with a disc on it, like a platinumized disc.
I like that.
I like that too. I like that. Oh, we know a clip's going there.
I like that. So anyway, this is their newest attempt at getting some money out of all of us. And the first 4 titles, they're good titles. They're just not anything that I'm going to grab. I'll keep my eye on it. But for $63, I don't know. I'd be curious to see somebody that does get one of these in hand, what it feels like, what it looks like. Is it really good quality? I'd be curious to know.
I definitely want to see that Goodfellas one in person.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that. So moving along out of Zavi's grasp, we talked about Cinemusem a little while ago for the Lost Boys. We were showing some of their lenticular cases, their one-click offers, and they had Lost Boys at the time. We also talked about Fright Night at the time. They've announced 2 new titles, both of which I think one they've shown a little bit more of, but they both sound really cool. And the first one's The Exorcist in its 50th anniversary. Before I saw this announcement, I'd seen a handful of rumors that The Exorcist was going to be released in 4K this year for its 50th anniversary. But a lot of what I was seeing was like mock-up art of stuff, like fan-made art, but it was just like, it's a rumor post, but they were using art that was clearly phony. They were just like saying, like using that for the images or whatever. And a lot of people were tearing it down like there's no real information. You're just assuming because it is the 50th anniversary, like you have no information basically.
Yeah.
But then I saw Cinemusem did a post the other day and it's a rather long post actually. But they basically say in their post for the post announcing their release for it, they put right in there that Warner Brothers will announce the release of the Exorcist 4K Ultra HD Steelbook for the 50th anniversary. So it definitely is, it sounds like, going to happen. So while that is still out there as like a rumor, and there's no real information about art or steelbooks or whatever's going to go on.
This is tentative art right here.
This Cinemusem post right here is what they are going to do. What they're basically
for the release.
Yeah, and basically what they're saying is like, now that this has been announced in 4K, like we're gonna put that into this art in this box that we're putting together. Now we don't have any other information about what they're gonna do, and they don't have this on their website yet or anything else. But I think they were more so announcing this as a kind of exclusive to the fact that Exorcist is going to even be coming out. The only small details that they did add on here is that the lenticular version of whatever's going on with this Exorcist release is going to have 3 discs, whereas the regular version they put out is only going to be the 4K disc. So I don't know, again, in the mainstream, what anyone's going to get, what 3 discs are versus 1 or what, but there does sound to be some difference that's going on here. The pre-orders are in November and they start shipping in 2023, but I've seen people post on our video for the Lost Boys Cinemusem edition that it's like it takes 2 years to like get those things. someone that had just recently gotten the Jaws edition from them had told me they pre-ordered it like 18 months before. So it's like, I don't know why that takes so long. So I guess buyer beware.
It's swimming in the ocean here from Europe.
But the other one that I saw them announce that's a little bit more information on, which I thought looked really cool, was they're doing a Poltergeist. Oh, this is one of like the mock-ups, but they're doing a Poltergeist release. And this is the lenticular version. And the lenticular version it's using the steelbook that we all know and love, the Best Buy, exclusive one. There's a poster, there's a booklet, there's all the kind of things that you would normally expect. But the box itself is a lenticular box with the original art on the front, and then Carol Ann on the back in front of like the TV, like the close-up. But
yeah, I like that.
I don't know if it shows it on here. Yeah, so there's no motion here, but when you do the lenticular, like turn it side to side, she goes in and out of the TV.
That's really cool.
I know, and I think that's awesome. And then on the back, same thing. Like this TV kind of is lenticular also, which you can tell that wavy look, I'm sure, is like,
it's the Matrix.
It's very groovy, like when you feel those things, like it's got like that texture to it. I'm sure that's going to look really, really nice. The regular edition looks pretty cool too. I think this art looks pretty awesome. Let me see if I can zoom in on this for you, Russ. We can take a look a little closer. Yeah, I think just as far as original art goes, I think this looks pretty cool with Carol Ann in the bed and the clown and the door like glowing.
Yeah,
and
both of these look like Arrow releases.
Yeah, it looks. I could see that. You're right. I could see that. This is exclusive artwork, but I could see that being an Arrow release.
Yeah, they both look cool. Wow, we're being unusually positive. Both of those.
I think they look great. Well,
I wouldn't mind owning either of them.
I know, and everything I see from this company, a lot of times I am pretty impressed with their art. I really like this. I wish more companies would take up this whole lenticular trend just more often here now and then. That and the steelbooks. Like sometimes you see those steelbooks that have a nice gloss on them, and it's like nice and shiny, and it really stands out. Like let's up the game a little bit. Like I'm digging these magnet clasping boxes, but some of these other ones I feel like have a little bit more style. No, maybe.
I just said I'd love to own
Russ.
either one of these editions. I'm with you.
All right.
And I didn't pick up Poltergeist.
You didn't?
No. Wow. May have to get this one. You
may have to. Well, our good friends at Cinemusem, maybe we'll get these and wait 2 years for it to finally come in the mail. So Criterion announced their January releases, and there's a bunch of different ones in here. There's like a Lars von Trier trilogy, the Europe trilogy. There's Invitation of Life. There's what's this other one down here? This is not a burial, it's a resurrection. But the main one that jumped out to me, and I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, Russ, is Baron Munchausen, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen from Terry Gilliam. Did you ever see that movie?
I never have. I'm aware of it, but I've actually never seen it.
Dude, I was so hyped to see that this got announced, and I think this is such a bizarre as it would be from Terry Gilliam, but it is definitely such a bizarre movie, so strange, so unique, and very imaginative. I guess that's, but also like straddles the line from being like too serious to where it's only for adults, but it also goes the other way where kids can enjoy it too, because it's kind of like not a fairy tale, but there's a lot of like fantastical things that go on, and as you travel around with this guy to like different places in this country, like he changes, he's got all these like funny sidekicks, and there's like he go to the moon. There's like all kinds of like interesting things that go on as he takes this adventure. But
they go to the moon.
They go to the moon. They literally go to the moon. But yeah, they go to hell. They go all over the place. And it stars this guy, Baron Munchausen. I've never seen this guy in anything else, but you know him, Baron Munchausen. They're doing,
his wife calls him.
They're doing a brand new 4K restoration for this, Dolby Vision, HDR. The Blu-ray that I have has also a lot of features like this already, so I'm not really sure that there's too much new that's here, but there's like documentaries behind the scenes.
I was about to say, wasn't there a special edition of this that came out at one point?
I only have ever owned, there was on Blu-ray, I've only ever owned the DVD, but I'm really curious to see how this looks from a 4K perspective. I just think it has, there's just so much going on with this film visually that just to see how they maybe tweak the colors a little bit or just revive it, I feel like it has the potential to look really, really awesome. But yeah, stacked features, awesome art. I think this art's really cool too. What do you think?
It is cool. Like I said, I have no frame of reference.
Yeah. I don't know what you would think about this
it.
movie, honestly. It's just such an interesting, strange movie. This is Uma Thurman, by the way, right here.
I thought it was Sarah Polly.
She is in it.
I know. I read it on the...
Yeah, she's the little girl that he goes on the adventure with. And then that's Uma Thurman, who he had an affair with. I think she's in hell, and she's married to...
Ethan Hawke.
Yes. Married to Ethan Hawke is like living in hell. But
So I've been told.
have you heard of any of these other titles that Criterion announced for January?
What's considered the Lars von Trier
What's in it?
Europe trilogy? Is that like Breaking the Waves?
Let me see.
Is his like first?
The Element of Crime, Epidemic, and Europa.
I was way off.
And they're getting new 3K restorations.
3K.
What the fuck is 3K?
Day one purchase.
I'm sorry. Okay, either one, that's a typo, or two, there's just something that I really just don't know about.
How many pixels is 3K? Is that like 16?
Somewhere in the middle of
it's like
1920 and 1080, somewhere
3K
between that
is the esteemed 1634 pixels by...
Wow. That's
12.
That's definitely a Lars von Trier move. I want my shit in 3K. I'm controversial.
Lars von Trier move.
I'm controversial. I want my shit in 3K.
That would have been more fitting for a Terry Gilliam movie.
That's true, especially Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I don't know if anyone's an 8 Mile fan out there. Russ, I know that you are. I know you're a big fan of this movie. Zavi is doing some deluxe ass treatment. Zavi's doing some deluxe ass treatment for the 8 Mile. Now,
it's my favorite movie.
It's coming out as 4K anyway in this Steelbook at Best Buy and some other regular release for the first time.
I actually own this.
Do you?
I own a Steelbook of this.
Do you?
I believe it was the Best Buy one too, but it was one of those like $8. You ever gone into Best Buy? I mean, nobody goes into Best Buys anymore, but there for a minute, you would have 8 Mile, Desperado. These real
really
like
dumbass art on there.
Yeah, these really chintzy steelbooks that I have the 8 Mile one.
Yeah, the 8 Mile one. Well, now's your chance for an upgrade, Russ. Now's your chance to lose yourself because on November...
My palms are sweaty, man.
On November 14th. Now, this is its 20th anniversary release, by the way.
This is the Mom Spaghetti edition.
The 20th anniversary, 20 years ago.
Uh-oh.
Is when this came out. The last time it came out on Blu was in 2009 until Best Buy stole your money and put it in a steelbook.
That's the edition to get. If you are a diehard 8 Mile fan like we are, you need to get that $8 Best Buy steelbook.
You got to own all the editions.
You got to own them all.
Now, being remastered in 4K with HDR. And it only has it probably has the same shit that you had. It's like one featurette and some like thing on Battle Rap. There's like nothing.
That's why I bought it.
Is that why you bought it?
That's why.
Battle Rap?
Because here's the thing with this movie. The movie itself, it's well made and all that. It's just very contrived. But the hip hop scenes, the battle scenes, are awesome.
Yeah.
And they're shot incredibly. And then having the behind the scenes, seeing more of that. And if you've seen the movie, I mean, the finale of it, let's say the last 20 minutes is just battle scenes, and those are great. It's just everything around that I'm not a huge fan of.
Wow.
It's just contrived. It
doesn't feel.
It's a motivation. It's Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Just replace karate with hip hop.
Just doesn't feel like real.
Well, it's not.
But I mean, as far as like when you want, obviously,
but it's a vehicle. It solely existed as a vehicle to promote Eminem's music and Eminem's backstory, and like he's a Marvel character. But I mean, even that, there's just parts in this movie I can't help but laugh at.
Yeah,
it's like, dude,
how's his acting?
This didn't happen. He's good, but again, he's playing a heightened version of himself.
Yeah,
I mean, how hard could that ultimately be? I know that he wasn't a fan doing it. That's why he hasn't really acted since beyond cameos. Wow. It was too much. But like I said, it's a weird movie. There's a lot to like in it.
Yeah.
But the stuff that doesn't work in it to me feels like a Lifetime movie, which is not territory you should be going into with a hip hop inspired film.
And I'm not buying a $50 Lifetime movie.
Oh, I would, but just not this one. Nah, it's okay, man. It's okay.
Well, this thing from Zavi is obviously it's a normal situation. Steelbook, slide in the hard box with all the booklets and everything else. But it is its 20th anniversary. It is, I think it looks like some decent art. I don't think that looks bad.
No, it does look
That
cool.
steelbook looks nice. The regular edition has the regular art. Is $45 plus shipping the right price on that, Russ? What do you think?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's a
$50?
decent price.
I guess.
That looks like you're getting a lot with the box. Yeah, that's a pretty good price.
Okay, well, that's 8 Mile from Zavvi, $50. Lose yourself. But the hottest news of the week is that my best friend's wedding is getting a 4K Ultra HD release in its 25th anniversary. Russ, I know I'm totally joking, but I definitely just wanted to at least show you that this release from Sony, 4K Ultra HD 25th anniversary, is getting a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative, Dolby Vision, and a Dolby Atmos audio track. I can't believe it. Plus a new alternate ending in case you didn't like the first time, and nearly 20 minutes of deleted scenes. We were just talking about Cameron Diaz.
And that was enough. I don't want to keep the conversation going.
Have you ever seen this movie? I haven't.
No.
I haven't. I was like, man, I just kept seeing news items about this. Like, people were really hyping this up, and I couldn't believe,
it's
who
a
gives a fuck for
beloved
Atmos?
film.
For Atmos, an Atmos track?
How else are you going to watch My Best Friend's Wedding?
It's the only way I want to watch it.
This is a beloved film to a few people out there.
A few people. Well, that's the news of the
I've heard
week.
Things.
That's the news of the week. But
Nah, real quick, we got to keep going on about My
What?
Best Friend's Wedding.
All right, go.
I can't look at that poster or any picture of Julia Roberts without thinking of. I know you used to go to this page, Maddox,
Oh yeah.
best page in the world, and when he was doing that one mock-up, and she has a big fucking mouth. Roger Ebert. That's all I think. Good segment.
Love you, Julia.
Why do you waste my time with that news, Matt?
Because it made me laugh. I'm sorry that it's getting an Atmos track and a new restoration from the camera negative for the 25th anniversary. I mean, good for them. Good for Sony, I guess. But I don't know. I guess there wasn't anything better for them to put out.
Did Dermot Mulrooney come back?
I mean, first they did
Was
Fright
that
Night.
him, or was it? I always confuse Dermot Mulrooney and Dylan McDermott.
That one was Dermot Mulroney.
Dude, I can't even say it.
That one was
I can't
Dermot Mulroney.
I can't even say their names without talking like this. Dylan McDermott.
Wait, that was Dylan
Don't.
Mulroney.
Dylan
That's who it was.
Mulroney.
Let's talk about a better film, Russ. Let's talk about something better. Let's talk about Videodrome. So, did you pick this up, by the way?
I haven't received it yet.
But you did.
I
You
did
pre-ordered
order
it. Okay,
it, yes.
yeah. I was kind of under the impression, and I guess I'm wrong, obviously, since it didn't ship already, that Arrow would ship it to me like a week or two ahead of time.
Nah, and especially this
I
is
thought
from
that
overseas.
I thought that was always the case. That if you bought direct, you always got it a little earlier.
Scream Factory does that.
That's
but,
a Scream Factory only thing.
But even if they did, we're getting it from overseas. We wouldn't receive it early anyway.
But I'd like to see a shipping notification earlier.
Good point.
All right, whatever.
Not that I know. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right. Well,
I know Scream Factory used to do that. I'm not sure if they still do.
I don't know. Maybe I just got my hopes up. But Videodrome is coming out October 24th. I know I pre-ordered it. You pre-ordered it as well. Coming from Arrow in the UK. It's coming in a limited edition sets with new art, with Debbie Harry on there, which they've used before in their prior Blu-ray release. And then they're also doing a limited original art box that's got the original poster art on it instead of the Debbie Harry version, which
I think we went with alternate versions.
I went with the original art myself. What did you go with?
I went with the Debbie Harry.
The Debbie
one.
Harry. I like that they did that, because if you had bought the Debbie Harry one before, you're not rebuying the exact same thing again if you wanted to.
I
Because
pointed that out last time.
Did you? Okay.
I like how Scream Factory does that with their new 4Ks. It's the original artwork on the slips, so it doesn't make my older ones feel valueless now.
Right. And at the time of us talking about this, there hasn't been any advanced knowledge of what the transfers will look like or any reviews, but if any come up before we post this, we will absolutely be included. So I'm actually really excited to talk about this movie, Russ, because I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone about it in detail since I watched it, and I'm ready to get some things off my chest.
I hated it.
But
piece of shit.
But just to intro it, it's a film from 1983 directed by David Cronenberg, in his first feature film to receive any real major backing from like Hollywood, if you want to call it that, or a real studio. He directed a ton of small movies prior, but I think it was Scanners that sort of got people to be interested enough to give him a little bit more money. Scanners, which I've never seen, but I know has the incredible Michael Ironside
Don't get your hopes up.
Okay.
No. Scanners is cool, but I will say I know you're probably on a high because you just saw Videodrome for the first time. People may get angry with me about this, but Scanners isn't the one to go to next.
Okay.
And I know Michael Ironside is going to trip you up and be like, hell yeah, I got to watch Michael Ironside.
How is Ironside in it?
Dude, he's fucking rad,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like the Few Good Men thing where he's in like the beginning and end kind of. There's a whole chunk in the middle where he is not present and you feel it.
Yeah. And is he doing his normal Michael Ironside like
is there any way,
delivery?
Is there any other way he can be?
I guess not. I feel like I don't know enough about his filmography, but the ones I have seen, he's always that guy.
Have you ever seen a subdued Michael Ironside? Do you want to?
No, I'm glad he's still acting.
You're not going to hire Michael Ironside and say, hey, just play the background.
I know. Why isn't he in Videodrome? He's not in Videodrome, but Videodrome does star James Woods, Debbie Harry, and the Christmas tree salesman from A Christmas Story.
That's how they advertised it.
Which I know you did. You told me last
and
time you haven't
starring
seen
the Christmas tree guy from.
Dude, when I watched this movie, like his name is like Barry Convex. He's kind of like, I guess you could call him one of the antagonists in the movie. When I saw him come on screen, I was like, why do I know that guy? Where is he from? Where's he from? So when I looked him up, I was like, I knew nothing. And all of a sudden I got to Christmas Story. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, that's it. He's in one scene where he's selling the family a Christmas tree. And it's a comedic scene. He's got some lines, but I was like, that's where I know him from. The Christmas tree salesman guy.
Did you miss the cameo in Videodrome, the leg lamp? When James Woods has a conversation with it?
Hallucination with the Christmas Story.
No, it wasn't Videodrome wasn't messing with him. He just literally, that's what James Wood does.
That's
James
what he
Woods
does.
He conversates with lamps. Which should actually be more sane than what James Woods actually
does. Well, this movie follows James Woods, who
first mistake,
follow him around.
Hopefully not on Twitter.
Follows him on Twitter. This movie follows James Woods on Twitter, where it's immediately disappointed.
His Twitter posts are more repellent than snuff films.
I love you, James. I love you.
No, I don't.
I still like James Woods.
Don't. Yeah, dude, he's great in this.
Dude, he's awesome in this. I mean, I want to let...
terrible in real life.
Dude, I want to experience the art with the artist. That's all I want to experience.
Of course, and he's perfect for this because his sort of natural skeevy is perfect for Videodrome. The cocky bravado.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, he's great for it. And easily his best movie.
Yeah, it's...
That he is the starring, the
starring
obviously
person,
he's done supporting work that's great here and there, but for a James Woods vehicle, I'm watching Videodrome and that's about it.
Yeah, and just to set this movie up, even like the plot is kind of interesting because if you're someone who is in our generation, and this is probably exactly who this is being marketed to and prior, I don't think there's too many young people that are, like coming to Videodrome. But even the concept of the movie is pretty much foreign at this point, where this guy is the sort of CEO of a UHF station, like where back in the day where we had televisions that needed antennas to get whatever channels that you had on your thing. There was no like cable boxes or Fire Sticks or any shit like that. It was like some point that station just would go out of like tune and you wouldn't even be able to get it. I remember we had a TV like that. You had to like rig all kinds of shit up to be able to see some channel at some point in the day. It was such like a process.
How many snuff films did you watch?
But yeah, that's kind of an interesting part about this movie is like what is going to come in on the signal depending on like the time of the day. But he basically uncovers a channel at using some like super duper satellite that they've got. He finds some channel over in, I don't know where it is, I forget the country they say, but it's basically broadcasting like what appears to be like snuff films. And as he tries to uncover where that's coming from, he slowly loses his mind, basically, is how I guess you could describe this movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for those unaware, we watch television on stations with an antenna. And Cronenberg was praised for this movie. So was, as far as his direction's concerned, so was James Woods' performance. Special effects, yes, but ultimately it just bombed like outright. I think that the budget was small anyway. It was like $5 million for at the time. That might have been a lot. I think it only made back like just under $2 million. And so it didn't do so hot, but now it is considered a cult classic, and it has been named Cronenberg's best of his career, which we talk about, I think, like the 10th time now.
Yeah, and I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's his best.
I think time will tell for me because The Fly is just so ingrained in me, and I've only seen this one time, but it definitely left me with so much enthusiasm to watch it again and to, like I said, have a conversation with you about it, which let's do right now. But
favorite and best are two different things for me. So I'm not saying this has to be my favorite Cronenberg, but I would say it's his best. I think this film encapsulates his filmography more than any other one. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, and I guess when we talk,
especially the horror stuff before, like Naked Lunch and Crash, but I guess even Naked Lunch you could throw in there. And then he moved on and started doing like the Robert Pattinson stuff, or Eastern, the Viggo Mortensen stuff. I'm talking about this era, the horror era. Yeah, I would say this is the pinnacle. This is the most. His signature film, I would say.
I think, and I want to talk about that more in detail too when we talk about the movie itself. But I agree with you, and I think one of the reasons why is because I think in a lot of his movies, he's got a point that he's trying to make. He's got, like, whether it's a theme he's trying to explore or just a certain message he's trying to say. This is the message, and I'm going to give you that message through this movie. I think here he just feels like it's his most potent, like as far as how he's delivering. Like, he's got a point in mind, and this is the movie that he's going to give you to sell that point. He probably has points in The Fly and in Crash and in some of these other movies that he's done throughout. But I feel like the way he tells the story here is just so much more viscerally potent that you just are like just able to, I don't know, like be taken over by it so much easier.
And to your point with that and how it bombed, I just think it was too much for mainstream audiences.
Oh, I would
think
say
that point. It's funny because you're right. That point does sort of hit you over the head in some ways, but as far as the storytelling or the narrative goes, it doesn't really hit you over the head. It's kind of convoluted in some ways. It works. That sounds like a criticism. It's not, because it does all gel together. But
there's some questions it leaves you.
Yeah, but I'm saying for mainstream audiences, I think it was just way too convoluted for them, especially in 1983.
Yeah. The concept is cool, and I mean that's just to set that up too. Like, I guess as this came from experiences of Cronenberg himself, where I guess as a kid he would always kind of like get like weird stations on his TV, and I guess that's what kind of reminded him of this. And he would always think, like, well, I wonder what am I going to see late at night, like just that curiosity about what could like come through. And I actually didn't know this, but after he did Scanners, before he did this movie, he was asked to direct Return of the Jedi. And
so is David Lynch.
Was he really?
Which is even funnier.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. But I
so would love to see a world where either one of them, Cronenberg or Lynch, directing a Star Wars. Well, actually, now I guess you could. That's like what Rian Johnson doing it.
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess.
I don't know, but that would have been great just to see Ewoks like translated.
From his,
yeah, dude. Could you imagine body horror with Ewoks? That would have been incredible.
I don't know, man. I feel like George Lucas probably would have stepped in and been like, "This is a little too weird." I can't believe they even considered him after Scanners, like to do a third Star Wars movie.
Dude, all David Lynch had done at that point was Eraserhead and Elephant Man. What about either one of those movies screams Star Wars?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, Cronenberg was like, I don't really want to. I don't want to direct material that's been produced by other people. Like, I kind of want to do my own thing. Like, at that point in time,
so politely
he's like,
fuck off.
Right. So I'm doing my own thing. So then in between Scanners and getting that offer, he's like writing the script for this Videodrome film, which at the time was like super graphic, super, much more even he's saying than what the movie turned out to be. And he was like, I don't think this thing's ever going to get greenlit. It got greenlit, but then as he's filming it, he kind of made some concessions and trims as he went. In fact, there was, I guess, supposed to be 3 endings to this movie, and the one that they went with was kind of like James Woods, not improvised, but like on set. He was like, I think this is how this should play out. And that's the ending that we see, was the one that James Woods sort of put out there and discussed with Cronenberg himself. So Debbie Harry, again, just real quick, Debbie Harry, who this is, I guess, her largest film role at that point. I don't know, did she go on to do other movies after this?
She acts a lot.
Does she act a lot?
I mean, you're right. This is probably the biggest role, the most notorious one. But
yeah.
Dude, aren't you a fan? She was in Tales from the Dark Side. Aren't you a fan of that?
I like Tales from the Dark Side. I don't remember which one. Oh, the movie or the show?
The movie.
The movie? Which one was she?
I'm not even a huge fan of it. I do remember she was in it, though. I remember Christian Slater more than I remember her for some reason.
Yeah, he was in, I think, was he in the Wraparound Story? I can't remember. But yeah, so at that point, this was kind of like her biggest thing. James Woods, I don't. He like met Cronenberg and was saying that he was kind of like gravitated towards his oddball style and for being a controversialist, and was really interested in working with him. So he jumped on with no issue. But let's just talk about the movie itself and why we like it. If there's anything that maybe we don't. When's the last time you watched this movie? A while or recently? I mean,
maybe 2 or 3 years.
And was that the first time you watched it that time?
Yeah, I didn't grow up on this.
Okay.
No, yeah, I saw this later in life.
Gotcha.
I definitely did not see it growing up.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I just saw it for the first time this year, a couple of months ago, and I guess the first thing, just the concept in general, I feel like is something that's really cool about this movie. Just this whole like fascination with whether it's horror, sex, violence will be our downfall, will be civilization's downfall. I feel like that's always kind of like a talking point throughout, at least us growing up. You always saw that, whether it was with music or different movies, things getting boycotted, things going to court. We got to put this label on it. Kids can't watch this. There's this shooting and it's this media thing's fault. Like all that kind of idea. As soon as I started watching this, I was like, wow, they're touching on this even back then and in such a really over the top way, which I think is just the Cronenberg style.
Well, it makes more sense today even. And that's what I think it is a cult classic. I would just call it a classic.
Yeah.
With phones, with everyone nowadays controlling their own narratives and speaking their truth other than the actual truth. These are all just euphemisms for brainwashing.
Right.
And that's exactly what the movie is going against. It's perception through media and how we are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Human beings are we're suggestive.
Yeah.
And it's literally showing you, hey, we're intentionally trying to kill you all with this. And that's great horror. It'll be timeless because there will always be, it might not be a TV station, but today it'll be cell phones or apps,
social
smartphones.
media.
Everything's watching us now, and it's tailored to us and our primal urges. And that's exactly what Videodrome was about.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Just that idea of like brainwashing and being and almost being like okay with the brainwashing, because like James Woods' character like wants it, like he wants it,
and that's where I say it's so ahead of its time. I remember, if you think about it, when we were growing up and throughout the 1900s, the past century, look, we're fucking vampires here. The fear was always Big Brother. And, this Orwellian future where the government or, these entities will control and watch everything. And the one thing that Orwell didn't predict, and none of us could have thought happening, was how much humans want to be watched.
Yeah.
Nobody thought about that. Who knew everyone would just want to trade in their privacy just for the shot at going viral or something like that. And Videodrome captures that in 1983.
Yeah.
And it's great.
No, it definitely does. And I wonder, like when I watched it, I was wondering to myself, like, he's hypnotized in a way, but he's also, what he's hypnotized by is ultra violence. Essentially, it's like rape, murder, whatever it is. And even when he finds out that it's real, like he thought at first it was like, oh, this is great, this is a TV show, and then he finds out it's real, and it becomes even more compelling. Like I kind of looked at it just on that face value, and that Cronenberg is trying to make a point about people that say violence is going to make you, this cultural decay, violence is going to make you implode. Like, and that's not what I think. Like, just listening to this or watching this thing isn't going to make you a bad person, but I'm going to flip that on its head and use this movie in that way to poke fun at what those types of people are saying. But I do think it works on that element too, where there's also this brainwashing part where there's this geopolitical organization that's like trying to consume and
that's why
locked in.
But that's why I think it's brilliant. That's why I think it's brilliant, because to me it's both.
Yeah.
And even to your point, James Woods himself, his character changes too.
Yeah, he does
towards the end.
Yeah.
Like at first, it's almost like his character goes through both waves of what we're saying, and it's almost satirizing both.
Yep.
And dude, listen to what we're saying. I mean, this is lofty shit. This is a brilliant film. We're actually talking about it in a way that probably makes it sound like a chore to watch, just on a base level beyond all of this sort of subtext we're going into. It's a fucking entertaining film.
Oh, God, it's so fun. Dude, it's so
just
fun.
An entertaining sci-fi. You're going to get great visual effects. Oh, my God. They're disgusting, and they're great. it's breezy too. From what I remember,
It's like 90 minutes or less.
Yeah, a lot of the early Cronenberg stuff is
Yeah.
really quick, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing I just remember too, just to touch on that whole idea of the comment about, what you see on TV is going to, you're going to mimic or act that out, or that's going to be the thing that you want more than anything, with no spoilers at the end for the ending. But the literal ending, James Woods sees something on a television and he acts that out. Like, and it's like, again, I think they're kind of like putting a little bit of that emphasis on that point. But yeah,
Was that Woods' idea?
Yeah, that whole ending scene was his idea. But just talking about him even for a second. So James Woods, you talked about him for a moment ago, but he's perfect for this role. He's, like you said, he's like the perfect, like, greasy slime ball car salesman-y guy. He's always been that guy. It works so well.
Yeah, you believe that he would become obsessed with that stuff.
Oh,
I believe in real, like, I don't even think he's acting in this movie. I don't.
No, you're right, dude. How he gets like wrapped up in the story, his hallucinations, like all of it. It's like, it's enthralling.
That's James Woods on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, and also because we said the same thing about Blowout. Like, there's a clear mystery that he's trying to get to the bottom of, and we want to get to the bottom of it too. Like, we're just as like manic about trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Like, am I crazy? Am I not crazy? Is this real or is it not? Like, he's obsessed. He's obsessed with this content, kind of like we're obsessed with what's going on too. Like, we're obsessed with a violent whatever. We're being brainwashed.
I never thought that's a pretty good comparison
it's
to
cyclical.
Blowout. That'd be a cool double feature. And there's a bigger conspiracy than what they both are getting into.
Thought even imagine.
They're so unaware of. Yeah.
So he's awesome. You said the special effects. I had no idea it was Rick Baker. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
think to this day.
Yeah.
Tell me this though, before you saw this, even as a child, I remember seeing those images of like him going into the TV and stuff like that.
The head into the TV, yes.
Yeah.
I'd never seen any of that other stuff. Nothing else I was spoiled on. But yeah, the head going into the TV, I'd definitely seen before. But Rick Baker, he had just done American Werewolf in London like 2 years before. But there's so many awesome things in this movie that he does, and it's so like everything looks like wet. It's like it's like gross, like it's just nasty. Like that chest slit. He's got that handgun, that hand grenade, which I actually didn't know what that was at first. Even when that guy, like a character, again, no spoilers, but a character dies in this movie. When he dies, he basically like explodes, and like there's all kinds of weird like pus and shit like shooting out of him. It's just disgusting. The head in the TV thing was awesome. The television itself, like undulating, and the VHS cassette tape that's like bubbling, like. So many awesome effects are used in this movie. It really is. And it's so...
No CGI. And like you said, that wet feeling, that tangible feeling.
Yeah.
It's real. And your mind, I don't care. Maybe it's our age. Maybe younger people don't see movies this way. But there is something just so real about seeing practical effects.
Yeah.
There's something tangible about it to where when you're watching it, you can suspend your disbelief so much more when it's that versus CGI.
Absolutely.
I just can. Maybe it's my age. I don't know. And Videodrome, Cronenberg stuff in general, like you said, how wet it looks. It just looks gross.
Ugh.
Like you don't want to touch it.
It does.
But it looks like
gross.
it's just you feel it. And that's what I love about him as a filmmaker.
No, I agree. And the one element of this movie that I wanted to get your opinion on too is, so just, for the sake of people that haven't seen it. So slowly James Woods over time starts to have hallucinations as he's watching Videodrome, this channel. Things don't start to seem like they're not what maybe they appear, like certain people he's met or certain things that have gone on. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't go on. He's slowly like losing his mind. But what I wanted to ask you and what you thought, because as far as these hallucinations go, by the time the movie was over, I started thinking to myself, like, I wonder when the hallucinations even start. I wonder if it's like a blend of reality and hallucination, or did everything I watch like not really take place, or can I even be sure? Like a lot of the stuff that James Woods does, like as an example, that he like melds with that gun. Like, obviously that didn't happen, but did he go somewhere with a real gun and he's thinking that it's part of him? Is that thing even taking place at all. Like, I just feel like this movie fucks with you to the point where you just don't really know, because there's
But that's what's hilarious about it, because it's a meta thing, and you're watching a movie being influenced by it, and you're questioning it while you're watching James Woods having his hallucinations and being a victim towards Videodrome himself. Like I said, and that's why it works. It is, and that's why it's so brilliant.
Dude, it's awesome. It really, I really, and that's like what I kept thinking about over and over was just like the concepts, how they were executed. Yeah. What did I watch? Was that real? Was that not real? Because again, there's characters that die that you clearly think are dead, but no, maybe they're not dead. So like, what are you really seeing? You're just really tripped out by the whole experience, and it's just awesome. And the little, I guess the cherry on top, or what really maybe glues it all together a little bit, is the score. Howard Shore. I know I talk about Jerry all the time. Howard Shore.
You're cheating on Jerry?
Howard Shore is also a legend. He's a legend in my eyes as well. But what's cool about his score is it starts off like orchestral, but slowly turns electronic as James Woods slowly changes too. And it just really kind of gives like an uneasy feeling. Like even the opening credits, I remember I was actually watching this with headphones on, and the score that comes on, it's like, oh fuck yeah. When the title Videodrome came on, I was like, oh yeah, I was like so ready. I could already tell I was gonna like it. But
I knew you were gonna like
dude,
this.
Amazing. It was such a great film.
If there was any Cronenberg movie, like, you're gonna love that.
Dude, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. The like I said, the story, the acting, the effects. Just, it's like you said, it's short. It's to the point. It's tight. It's awesome. I don't think I have really any issues. I mean, I
liked you calling it punk rock.
Yeah,
that was a very good description.
Yes, it feels punk rock. Now, the critics outside of myself, they loved the movie for being audacious, disorienting, posing great questions, and being just plain weird. That's like the general consensus for this movie across, most critics, if you look at any of these types of websites that do all these meta-analyses or whatever. But here is one specific quote that I read that I liked. It says, as usual, Cronenberg pulls no punches getting his message across. The movie is tight and perfectly clear for anyone willing to watch the screen and think about what they're seeing. Because I feel like that is like you want to be forced to watch this really disturbing imagery, but at the same time, you're being fed an idea that is so compelling that you just can't look away. You got to see how it ends up. Like what is the final resolution? And it's really, really great.
But I always said, I'll take it a step further. I agree with that quote completely, but I also think one of its most powerful weapons in its arsenal is you don't even have to watch it in that way if you don't want to.
Oh, sure.
You can just watch it as an action, sci-fi, horror film
without
and not even think about it. And you're still going to be entertained. And to me, that's always the great sign of a good movie. Yeah. If it can work in both ways, as entertainment to turn your mind off, or as entertainment to inspire thought.
Yeah.
That's incredible to do both at the same time.
I agree.
Most of the time, some movie, you get too involved in one or the other, and it's like you're more driving home the point. I think a lot of modern horror movies in the A24 studio do this. It's like it's too much of the lofty stuff, and it's like I'm not entertained anymore. Right. Now I'm just putting together a puzzle. Whereas films like Videodrome, you get both. Yeah. I'm entertained, and you're giving me the mystery, that crazy, questionable.
And he gives it to you.
Oh yeah, and that's that line. Walking that line is so hard, and Cronenberg's one of the best to do it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get mine in the mail. I can't wait to watch this thing again. After Videodrome, Cronenberg directed The Dead Zone right away, right after that. Then I
always forget he did that.
Yeah, he did The Dead Zone, then he did The Fly, then he did Dead Ringers. That was his 80s output. Then moving into the 90s.
Dead Ringers came in, was it 89?
I think it was 89, yeah. In the 90s, he was Naked Lunch, M Butterfly, Crash, and then Existence. That was some of his 90s output. There have been a lot of releases for Videodrome. Criterion's put it out before. This has been put out by Arrow before as well in this exact same packaging, but on Blu-ray. I wonder now. Arrow's the one that's putting this out in 4K. I wonder if Criterion's going to do that too for the US, which I'm sure would be just as good or just as awesome. But if you have not considered checking this film out, you should do so. It's thought-provoking. It's a horror film, a great horror film, great concepts, great effects, acting, all that good stuff. Highly recommend. And these sets look really awesome as well. If you already are a fan, definitely consider picking one of these up. It's still available. It's 30 pounds, which turns out to be like $36. It's like nothing for what you're getting. Absolutely consider picking up Videodrome. Now, the next movie for us, I'll I'll set up a little bit, but I would love to hear mainly your complete thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Never saw it.
Never saw it.
No, I'm kidding.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is another movie that's coming out the same week, just the day after, October 25th. And this is from Vinegar Syndrome, which this was previously released in 2016 on Blu-ray from Scream in a collector's edition, which you own that one?
Yes.
You got that one too?
Yes.
Again, no real information on any reviews on this disc or anything at this point before the video goes up. We may have some things put into there to discuss that. But for now, we're just going to talk about the movie, which came out in 1986, directed by Tobe Hooper, who also directed the 1974 original. Mm-hmm. In between directing that and this, he directed Eaten Alive, The Funhouse, Poltergeist, Life Force, and Invaders from Mars.
And Salem's Lot.
Did he? Oh, was that a television movie?
Yeah, it was a miniseries. But the last time when we covered this being announced, someone in the comments chimed in and said, "You forgot to," and I was like, "Holy shit, that's probably the most known one," and we didn't touch on that. Like we're sitting here talking about Eaten Alive, which 3 people have heard of, and you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I forgot that he had done that. That was pretty creepy too. So this movie, considered a black comedy, follows a radio DJ who is captured by Leatherface and then the formal marshal that is hunting the family for their crimes years later.
That sounds about right.
Is that about right, Russ?
That's right. The formal marshal is Dennis Hopper.
None other than Dennis Hopper.
And I believe it's been a minute but he's like the uncle. I want to say he's related to one of the victims in the original film.
And it's kind of funny to me, and I don't know if this was Dennis Hopper's doing or what, but
it was drugs.
That they go with that Breakfast Club gag poster is kind of like the poster that they use. But his name, it's not like Dennis Hopper he's not on the poster anywhere. Like I didn't know until you told me, showing me some clips from this movie, that he was even in it. Like I had no idea he was in it because he's not on any of the marketing stuff. No. Like why not? Answer.
That's it. Well, well, working for the marketing team.
Yes, can you tell me
I made the
why?
bold decision to can Hopper. No, I don't know. But you know what's funny is that Breakfast Club parody poster is pretty goddamn iconic. I remember seeing that all the time as a kid in the video store. And you know what's even funny? I was aware of the Breakfast Club, and I didn't even put together it was a parody of the Breakfast Club for so many years.
No.
That's how iconic it worked on its own, while also I would mocking John Hughes.
I would pass that VHS box art or poster or whatever.
Such an awesome cover.
I would look at it and I would always think to myself, because I knew it said 2 on it, and I was like, I thought this movie was scary. Like I thought, because you could just tell that this is like a joke. Like I didn't even know the Breakfast Club thing until you told me that, and I'm just like looking at that like this is just silly. I thought this was like Leatherface is holding up his hand. I was like, is this a joke?
It's very representative of what the film is. Yes, it's very representative of it. Especially, oh God, if you're a fan of the original and you're going into this expecting the tone of the original, you're going to be pissed off.
Yeah, well,
this is a completely different animal.
And they actually other than Leatherface and I think one other character, Drayton Sawyer or something, those are the only 2 that come back from the first movie.
But see what happens, if you're unfamiliar, what happens in the Texas Chainsaw franchise, it's pretty much the same setup in every movie. It's, people are traveling somewhere in Texas. They're not familiar. They come across one person who may seem nice or questionable. You're not sure about that person. Obviously, Leatherface comes in. They end up at a house, and they end up having to sit down to the family dinner with Leatherface's misfit, family. But that's pretty much the conceit of all of them.
And then
it follows those beats, just with like different actors and different characters.
So they have dinner with them before.
So even in 2, it follows that like the original did. 3 follows that. I couldn't sit through the 4th one, Generation, with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. I'm assuming that one does it as well. So yeah, that's not really a point of contention, I'd say.
Gotcha.
Especially with 2, where, like I said, tonally, we're going off the fucking map. We're taking a hard left from what the first one was.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so like I said, think Evil Dead 2, think Gremlins 2, think of any sequel where it goes in. You said a black comedy. It's a perfect way to describe it. It's having fun. It knows it's ridiculous. Yeah. And it was a wise decision, because how the hell else are you going to make a sequel 13 years later to one of the most iconic horror films of all time.
Yeah.
Especially when, I'm sorry.
Go.
Especially when that original film, one of the strongest elements of the original Texas Chainsaw was how low budget it was how gritty and real it felt. And come on, Canon Films isn't going to deliver that, and you don't want to see that again. Tobe Hooper nailed it in the original, so going in this direction was wise. It was fun, it was smart. Dude, yeah, great sequel, great horror sequel.
Well, you are clearly you basically everything you're saying is like all the reasons why you like to is it sounds like the reason why a majority, at least of critics or whomever, didn't like it.
This is not a critic film.
So,
the critics are going to chew this movie apart.
Right, and I think what I was reading about, what the general consensus was it was criticized for focusing more on the black comedy and gore, whereas the original focus is more on tension, fear, that low budget pseudo documentary approach or whatever it is.
But that's so
cinema veritas.
I mean, yes. The original would be all those things, but that's what's stupid. Like, that's not the intention of the movie. If you're going to go into it comparing it to the original, especially in terms of horror, yes, one did it completely. One knocked it out of the park. One's not trying to knock it out of the park. So how can you criticize it for not being scary? Yeah. It's not trying to scare you in the same way the original did.
Well, Tobe Hooper actually commented in its defense, just saying that the original, in his mind, was also black comedy, but it was mainly unacknowledged by the general population due to the fact that it was so gritty.
Low budget. Yeah, I can see that. No, it does not come across as black comedy, but I could see that. Yeah. And like I said, just how low budget it was, how he captured that Texas heat, how the cinematography, the actors, you don't know who they are. It feels almost like somebody just carried around a video and holy shit, we're being hunted now. Yeah. And yeah, you can't recreate that. So why try? And he didn't. It was smart. And he made a funny, entertaining film that has been riffed on countless times since its release. I go watch House of a Thousand Corpses. House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie's film, is basically the last, say, 20 minutes of this movie.
Stretched into a film.
No, I'm talking like the look, the neon looks. Once the radio journalist, the main character, and Dennis Hopper gets to like the lair and everything that happens, dude, it literally, House of Thousand Corpses just looks exactly like it.
Yeah.
Right down to casting Bill Moseley in it.
Yeah. Wow.
Bill Moseley plays Chop Top in this. He's one of the members of the family, and obviously Rob Zombie picked him for what's his name? Otis, I think, in House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects and all that.
Well, I guess the powers that be decided that even past the second one, even if the critics didn't really love it, that there should be more. And this went and spawned 7 more films, including sequels, reboots, and a 3D entry.
They're not bad, honestly, for a franchise.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk about those too. And so Tobe Hooper, just to talk about him again for just one more second about the tone shift a little bit. So I guess he was supposed to produce this film only and then couldn't find a director within the budget, so he just went and he did it. And you mentioned Canon. So this was a Canon film. This was like part of some trilogy of films he had needed to do with them. They wanted horror.
Was Canon.
Yeah, they wanted horror and he wanted black comedy. And so Canon was not ultimately happy with what he delivered, I guess. And even the original Leatherface, he didn't come back for this either because of some salary dispute. So this is even a new guy as well. But I want to talk about the movie in general. You've talked about the tone, why it's different, why it's better that it's different. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about just other aspects that you feel like make it great. And I know we cannot not talk about Dennis Hopper, but
it's not better than the original.
Not better, but just
I didn't
fine.
say that. Yeah, the original is a fucking masterpiece. It's a classic.
The original doesn't have Hopper.
That's true.
I mean, the original doesn't have him.
That's true.
From what I've seen, and I haven't seen this movie, but from the small clips that you've shown me, it just looks like he's just having the best time of his life on screen. I mean, I don't know. He kind of always looks like that. But
Hopper, to me, he's playing it. It's a combination of giving 0 fucks about the material and, as you said, just having fun.
Dude,
it's like Hopper is over. He is hyper. Hopper is hyper aware of what movie he is starring in.
Oh, yeah. When he picks up those chainsaws, he's like, I'm in a chainsaw movie, baby.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely.
He goes for broke.
I read a couple of interesting reviews, mainly one from Siskel and Ebert. And this is what Ebert said about Dennis Hopper.
They actually screened this for critics ahead of time.
I guess.
And Siskel and Ebert.
Ebert said this about Hopper. He says, he's playing a man who spends the first half of the movie looking distracted and vague, and the second half screaming during chainsaw duels.
That's exactly it. That's what I'm saying. It's like he looks bored, like he knows it's shit, and then he's just having a blast. And like I said, I keep going back to the tone of this film.
Yeah.
But having it be comedic, having it be absurd, and having Hopper not only play it that way, but just having Dennis Hopper in the movie itself adds to all that stuff, adds to that tone. It's insane. It's insane. Bring it all down. It's insane. And I love it every second.
Oh my God. Well, I guess in hindsight, he was asked, and he said that in his career, Super Mario Brothers and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 were the worst films he had ever done.
No.
I don't know if he meant like they objectively two are the worst he's ever done, or he felt his participation in them were the worst. I don't know.
That's unfair to put this with Super Mario Brothers.
I
enjoy this more than Speed. I would put TCM 2 above Speed.
Okay.
For me, in terms of enjoyment.
Well,
I know Speed is a probably more proficient film technically.
Is this like a Gremlins 2 situation?
It's exactly what it is. I said that 5 minutes ago.
Did you? I missed that. Sorry.
No, it is.
So staring into your eyes.
It totally is a Gremlins 2 situation. And this was before Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, perfect. If you're a fan of Gremlins 2 and enjoy what Gremlins 2 did with the original Gremlins, wow. You're in store for some laughs with this one.
Any gripes with this? Anything
no.
You don't like?
Nah, it's critic proof.
It's critic proof. Yeah, I was going to say
it's critic proof because even the stuff that you might like, oh, that's corny. It's like, whoa, shit, everything's corny. Right. I love it. You know? Nah, and dude, I might be. I hope nobody listens to what I'm saying and thinks that it's a bad movie. It is a very entertaining, fast-paced film. It's going the way we're describing it and the way Ebert described it and everything else we're saying. Trust me, it's a better movie than what we're all letting on to. Mm-hmm. It's not shit like Gremlins 2. Yeah, not shit, dude. Yeah. This is a good filmmaker making an intentionally
funny
B
movie.
Yeah.
Well, even though I guess it wasn't a success technically in the mainstream to me and to you, because we already kind of alluded to this, I feel like it really picked up steam in home video, video stores, and whatever. It found its audience at home basically. And similar, like we said, to Halloween, this movie is another one that's got like sequels, but also reboots, and then new timelines and prequel timelines and all kinds of stuff. So I was trying to piece it all together. Have you seen all of these? Have you seen the whole everything?
I'd have to see it. I haven't seen every single one. I've seen a majority of them, though. Even the newest one that just came out, I saw. I actually watched that.
Okay.
But hold on, the continuity, like I said, in this universe, it's not, it doesn't matter.
It's like an anthology. Just it's a new story.
It'd be like, actually the Evil Dead comparison is great. What's the continuity between Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2? It's almost like a quasi remake, right? Each sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like that.
Gotcha.
It's almost like a quasi remake, just with a different vision, different look, aesthetic type thing.
So there's 3 timelines that I could gather. Original timeline, which is the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, which is the one you just watched. That is one timeline. Then there's the Platinum Dunes remakes timeline, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning, which is the prequel to that movie. And then there was the Millennium Film series, which you had Leatherface 2017, which is a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre #1. And then after that, the third in that series is Texas Chainsaw 3D. Did you see the 3D one?
I did, but I didn't see the one with Steven Dorff, that Leatherface one.
Oh, okay.
So see what I mean? And it doesn't even matter to me. Like, because it's like, I don't know. And honestly, the 3D one wasn't bad either.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
the new one's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah. I'd watch it again. No, I'm serious. Again, we're in like part 9 of a slasher series. And the reason why I say man is because I read a lot of people trashing it. And I watched it going in, thought it was going to be like the new Halloween. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, what are you guys expecting from this? There's a scene where he goes onto this bus. It's like a party bus. And he just starts slashing motherfuckers. And I liked it. I'm all about massacres.
Dude, I'll go up to Finn. He'll be watching something on Netflix, and it'll be like, whatever movie part 3, and I'll be like, oh, you're on part 3 already? He's like, yeah, I watched the first 2 already yesterday. I'm like, oh, how was the first one? It was okay. I was like, so why are you still watching it? Why are you still on 2 and 3? How are you on 3 if the first one was just meh? And he's like, whatever,
I say
Dad.
That to you all the time.
I know. He's like,
dude.
whatever, Dad.
You went and watched Top Gun just to go see Maverick. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So we said that it has been on Scream Factory as a collector's edition before, which you own. Now it's being released in this absolutely gorgeous set from Vinegar Syndrome. I think the box looks great. There's 1,000 features on here, tons of new, tons of old. Again, nothing too much on the reviews, but Russ, is this a pre-order for you? You already did?
I pre-ordered this the minute it was available.
All right. And so this will be coming in next week for you then.
Yeah.
Maybe you bring it over here and we could take a look at it. Maybe we can get a closer up look and get some box shot to that piece.
It's interesting to me. You didn't know Hopper was in 2. Viggo Mortensen's in 3, right?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then 4, the worst one, Next Generation, is Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger.
We have Oscar winners. McConaughey won. Hopper. This is a very esteemed horror franchise, man.
Okay, well, apparently Vinegar Syndrome thinks that 2 is what the people want.
They do, man. People love 2.
Okay, well,
it is the best sequel.
The best sequel.
Yeah, oh yeah. 2 is the best sequel out of all the reboots and sequels. 2 is where it's at. It's where to go.
Awesome. Well, that is out next week as well. And then to wrap up, Russ, I thought maybe we could do something a little fun. An idea, again, that is exclusive to us and no one else. No one else has ever done this before. I have never seen this before done ever in my life. And that is, we're going to rank things in a list. And I'm going to call this a tier list ranking.
Tier list. I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to catch on. I think you're on to something here, dude. A
tier list. And that's
we're going to take it a step further. I know everyone's thinking, hey, let's rank them A, B, C, D. Now we're going to put a fucking S.
We're going to put an S on top, and we're not even going to explain why.
Nah.
It's just going to be like a legendary thing. Like when other people start to do this, and we're like, why is there an S? Like, I don't know. It's just the way it's always been.
We're never going to reveal why. We will never reveal why.
Never. So we are going to sort of go down a little bit of some memory lane with, given that it's Halloween coming up, given that we talk a lot of shit on box art.
Too much shit.
We talk a lot of shit on box art, and I think for the most part, our takes are generally agreed upon. Well, definitely right, but also agreed upon. I see some people that are like, it doesn't matter to me so much, and that's totally fine. I think we've got opinions, and we're just here to share them, and I'm never going to stop sharing them, even outside of this.
That's what you do when you're superior.
That's exactly. You share your opinions, and you make them other people's opinions. So I thought that we could look at some horror movie box art, ones that we've liked, ones we haven't liked, and we're going to rank them in this tier system, with S being the best possible art you could have ever gotten, F being what the fuck were they thinking. And
this is going to be alternative artwork from mostly boutique labels such as Arrow, Scream Factory, Vincent, etc.
Exactly. Movies that we've looked at before, titles that we've covered before, some that we love, some that we didn't. We're just going to put our money where our mouths are here and say, here is our favorite and our least favorite. Roast us down below for what we decide. Let us know what maybe you think should have gone in these ranks, if you disagree or agree with our decisions. And I'm just going to kind of pull these out at random.
Jokes aside, I'm a fan of tier videos.
Yeah?
I got sucked into these, and it's a cool way to get a conversation starting, and you don't have to go too personal or too, this is my favorite movie of all time. I fucking love it. It's just like, hey, it's an A.
You can be objective about that thing.
Yeah, it kind of gives you it's a grading system. So instead of you or anybody watching, if I have a negative opinion on a movie, instead of you or anyone hearing it's complete trash, you'll say, no, it's a C. I don't despise it. It's just not my cup of tea. Well, let's jump in.
And I'm just going to throw a couple random ones your way, Russ, and we'll just start. Let's just start with maybe like a baseline so we can kind of figure out, where certain things are here.
For those watching and listening, I don't know. You put these together. I have no idea what's going to come up now.
So just like I said, just to get things started, just to get a baseline, we're going to start with the Lost Boys. Now, where should the Lost Boys go on this tier list, Russ?
Let's keep it real. Damn. Shit. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of funny that we're starting off with this.
We got to start off.
I would say this is one of the worst artwork I have seen since we have done this channel for what, 2 years now.
Yes.
I don't like this artwork at all. It gives me. Could you enlarge it a little bit so I can?
Yes.
talk
So you can hate it more.
Yeah, I know we're gonna put it down there. Everything about this, it looks like Twilight. It's the combination of Twilight, the Lego Movie, and just a bunch of bros hanging out. I don't like anything about this. The blue look, it's nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't even think it's Lost Boys. Would you?
I hate it. F.
Yeah, don't even explain it. It's not worthy of an explanation. Just put it right down there on the F. Cool movie.
Love the movie. And as I'm slowly moving it down here to F, my main gripe, and I said this in our video when we reviewed it, is that Kiefer's not on it. Kiefer is this movie. He should be on any promotional materials you ever have. I don't care what you want to change, what you want to do. Oh, that's his silhouette hanging. I don't give a shit. He should be on it. His face, his mullet. The logo on this one sucks. Like you said, it's Legos. Who cares about that logo? The original type face should be there. But Kiefer not being there is an immediate pass, F grade on the Lost Boys.
Agreed. What do we have next?
It
can only go up from here.
This is an interesting one. And this is Don't Go in the House from Severin. So this is a big, you're a fan of this movie, Russ, and we covered this movie a long time ago, and it made it onto our A to Z Halloween recommendation list. And I remember being taken back by this alternate art from Severin, not only because it's the poster itself is just like of a house and there's like a face sort of superimposed over it. This not only has a gruesome scene where there's like a man in a beekeeper outfit like stringing up a burnt woman, but it also has this corny ass like blue like frame around it that just makes it look like it's at the local library that I'm like pulling this out, and it's like, oh, what's this? You know, like I don't know,
so what are you?
So it's
what are you leaning towards? I know. What are you leaning towards?
I think it took some balls to put this together. So that's kind of why I like it.
I did too. My thoughts. I bought. This is the version I bought.
You bought.
If you recall, this came out from Severin, and who else did it come out from? Was it Arrow?
And the Arrow one's much more stylized. The guy's on the front, and there's fire behind him.
I picked because they were the same transfer, I believe.
Yeah,
even if they weren't, I picked up this edition based on the artwork alone. I adore this artwork. I think it's hysterical. It looks like a kid's movie, as long as you take away the burnt victim image. Like you said,
yes.
That outline, that border, it looks like some special edition of some classic children's movie from the 70s.
Right. That makes me more uncomfortable.
Exactly. And that's why I love it. And I know the movie and I dig it.
Yeah.
It even looks like it should, like, I can't read what it's saying next to the Severin video right
HQ
there.
or something.
HQ. It looks like it should say kids or something.
It's HIQU. It stands for high quality.
It looks like one of those book it clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
now you know the rainbow. It's
it's like watch Don't Go in the House and you get a free Pizza Hut pizza, you know, like with a fucking ribbon on it. Dude, this is A.
I'm going
A for me.
I actually feel the same way. I don't know that I'm S, but I'm definitely A.
It's A for me.
I'm definitely
No, not S. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm not putting it on the top tier, but I dug that one.
Yeah,
Good job, Severin.
Good job, Severin. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree on that. Here's one that we covered in the infancy of the channel, and that's Tremors.
Again, great movie.
Awesome movie. Just recently watched it. Recently watched this edition. Had a chance to really take a look at it. I must say, I do enjoy what's going on here. I like that they got the graboid on the box. And actually, the one thing that I never even picked up on until holding it in my hand and looking at it the other day is that within the letters is the characters doing the pole vaulting across the rocks.
I never noticed that.
Dude, right? Right? I never noticed it either. Isn't that cool? Like, I never noticed that.
Noticed it.
Dude, it's so awesome. I never even picked up on that. And I feel like that really elevated it for me after I noticed that. What do you think as far as the art's concerned?
Not terrible, not outstanding.
Okay.
For me, this would be C.
Really?
I would go C.
Go C?
I like the original. I grew up with this movie. I like the original font, the Tremors logo. So again, nostalgia is playing a role here.
The giant graboid underneath, and they're like standing on the top.
Yeah. And it looks to me that's more. It looks more real. It looks more small townish, which what the film is.
Yeah.
You know, where that to me this cover looks damn near like a kaiju movie, like Godzilla or something. And I don't feel like it represents the film quite well, but it is not terrible. For me, it's a C. What are you leaning towards?
Could I convince you to go to a B?
That's A. It's our channel, dude. B.
I like it in a B. I'm with you. I feel like
too Godzilla-ish for me.
For all the reasons that you said, I do think the illustration is cool, but it does give you a different feel. I think that Tremors hidden Easter egg really bumps it up for me, though.
That is
in the words.
it pole vaulted on the B.
It did. It got me up a little bit. Okay, so let's see. Moving right along. Let's do one that we just talked about, and that's Videodrome. And that's the new.
And we're going with this cover.
We're going to go with this cover, not the original art cover, the alternate art cover. Because the original art is awesome. That's the one I went with. But for those that are, we're always getting something different. Where does this rank?
This is high for me.
Okay.
This may sound sacrilegious, but I never thought the original artwork for Videodrome was iconic.
Okay.
I just don't. It's great, but considering all the visuals within Videodrome, there are so many avenues you could go down. I felt like that original. It looks very 80s. It looks very early 80s, which it should. That it's a product of its time. But like I said, it's not artwork that I feel is a prerequisite for watching the film.
Well, who did kill it? Criterion. Their cover was sick, where his head's going into the TV.
Yeah.
That could have been the art.
I actually prefer the Criterion cover to the original artwork. This is sort of in line. To me, this is just the updated version of a 1983 uninspired poster.
Okay.
But the fact that it's kind of retro is working in its favor. Little bit of bias. I'm a big fan of Blondie, so I like that it features Debbie Harry.
It's a cool scene from the movie,
I
too.
would much rather spend time with Debbie Harry in real life over James Woods. So I'm happy with
Debbie.
this. I'm gonna give this a B.
You're going to B?
I'm going B. If we gave Tremors a B, I got to give this a B.
Okay, I could see. I was maybe B to C territory, probably the same thing with Tremors. So
It's not offensive.
It's not.
There's nothing that they got glaringly wrong here.
No,
you know
I don't
what
think
I mean?
so. I don't think so. I think that's a good scene in the movie. They have her on there. I kind of missed the James Woods character, but like I said, I think the Criterion one's badass, but we don't have that here. We're not looking at that. We're not looking at that here. All right, let's look at maybe another obvious one. Here's Poltergeist. Here's another one that we just trashed, and this is the one that I'm going to show right here, and that's Craig T. Nelson's Wrangler jeans commercial. I don't know what your thoughts are on this one, Russ. I believe what you told me the first time was you wouldn't even think this was Poltergeist if the letters weren't on the title or the title wasn't on the box.
No, I'd have to stare at Craig T. Nelson's ass for a good 5 minutes before I came to that conclusion, which I don't mind doing.
Which I don't mind doing either.
No, this is terrible.
It's terrible. I'm gonna need to go down. This one's gonna need to go live with the Lost Boys. I think.
No.
What do you think? Are you a D?
It's D. It's not as bad as the Lost Boys.
Really?
Because again,
What?
Because it's stupid, but it's not getting so many things wrong.
Okay.
It's just dumb.
Craig T. Nelson is there, and that's good.
No, I'm just saying, like, what the Lost Boys is doing, it's not only getting everything wrong, it's getting everything wrong in, like, the most polar opposite way it could. Whereas Poltergeist, that's just stupid. But at least, there is a house in the movie. Craig T. Nelson's ass does feature prominently within the film. I'm not walking into this thinking I'm getting the Lego movie.
Okay.
So, but it's terrible.
Terrible. D. All right, we'll keep it at D.
Gotta have some variety, man. We can't just throw everything into the trash can.
That's true. Okay,
It's a tier list.
It's a tier list. Halloween from Scream Factory. We looked at these last year. I know our channel was still new. I caught some heat for what my comments were on the art. I kind of went off on the art a little bit. I still had not known these movies very well. I've had a year to digest these covers a little bit more. They keep putting them out as they keep releasing these Halloween entries. It looks like this is the artist that they're going with for all of them from here on out. But let's just look at the original Halloween. What do you think about this alternate art?
Let's start with some positives.
Okay.
I think this is the best one out of all of the new Scream Factory 4K artwork.
I agree with you.
I think it's the best one. Nah, man, just give me the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Just give me the pumpkin.
Yeah. I think I'm a C on this.
I'm leaning towards C as well.
It's better than Poltergeist for sure and Lost Boys. So I got to use these as my baseline at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't like when I think so far, Don't Go in the House A, like I'm affected by that cover. And I think it is something that, wow, they managed to do that. Whereas, Tremors and Videodrome, they did nice little reproductions of it. Halloween, like you said, it's the best Michael Myers iteration. The mask looks the best. The leaves aren't being summoned behind him. It looks like a wind blew. The knife looks good. The reflection with the house, that all looks fine. But it's still just okay.
Yeah. No, nothing above a C for me.
Okay.
Nothing above a C.
I think that's a C, an okay. Right? That's a C. That's an okay. So let's just put. So now we got representation for all except for an S. Do you think we're gonna get an S?
We might.
We have some pretty high
Yes.
expectations, Russ.
We're
Some pretty high.
snobs. We're assholes. I don't know if anything will get an S.
Let's take a look at one of your favorite titles from Severin, and that's Night Killer, also known as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which I don't have that here. I just have Night Killer. I don't know if this was original art or alternate art. I can't really be sure, but I wanted to look at this because we covered this, and why I love Severin and why I love Vinegar Syndrome, even though I don't pick up these titles ever. They're putting out, like B movies that were born out of a VHS or some old ass, but they're capturing that so well, and they update this art so well, and it just reminds me, looking at their not only the names of the movies, but what the boxes look like. It just reminds me of my youth going to these stores.
Well, this is gonna remind you of your youth even more. There's nothing in the movie that's like this, so you're gonna get ripped off just like you did in the '80s going to the video rental
I remember
stores.
you saying that. That's why I also wanted to
There's
include
nothing
it.
in this movie like this.
Yeah, just like you would rent this movie, and be like, yeah, this looks awesome. Like, when's that creature show up? When's this lady's face get ripped off?
But you get something better. You get Noonan. And honestly,
the little boy's room.
This cannot be S tier because I just want like Noonan's yearbook photo on a cover, and that's S tier. Noonan is an S tier human being.
Is Noonan still alive?
Fuck, he'll never die.
He'll never die.
Noonan is immortal.
He's immortal.
He's Doctor Strange, for fuck's sake.
Well, I'm not going to go S on this cover. I don't think this is what's going to take me over the top. But
I love this edition, and I love that it was in Europe as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. My thoughts on this, I got to put it above Tremors and Videodrome.
Really?
So it's an A. I got to put it. Because of that, like you said, it actually encapsulates what that experience in the 80s was like, of being disappointed with cover art. And the cover art of the 80s was so out of this world and phenomenal. And, dude, yeah, that harkens back to it.
So you think it's not just the art, but it's the meaning behind the art. So you're saying this needs to go with A. What if it's like on the line between A minus and B plus?
Listen, objectively, if you're feeling it's a B, I'll settle for a B because I think
I'll put it on the bar for now.
What kind of tier? We really are reinventing the tier list.
We are. What do you mean reinvent? We made it so we can do what we want. Other people can follow if they'd like.
Matt, I meant reinvent our own concept. It's called spitballing.
We'll leave it in A for now, but let's just keep that one in mind. Here's another one from Arrow, Candyman. What?
I don't know. We just got silent. Man, again, not bad. It's not bad.
This is actually one of my favorite ones that I've seen get redone recently that's come out. And I just the attention to detail to it, I really like. One, I like the Tony Todd Candyman likeness here. I think looks really cool. I love that the hook is like front and center. Obviously, these are apartment buildings that he's terrorizing, but they're turned into honeycombs. You've got bees that are buzzing around. I just think it's really well done. I just think it's cool. I love the blood stump. Kind of looks cool here against all the gold and brown, that red.
Yeah,
I like it.
You're selling me on it.
I think it looks cool.
I own this edition, and I think the one thing, the only negative thing I'll say about it, I wish it was black.
Instead of brown?
Yeah. I think if that same image, but the whole case was black, I would have loved that.
I could see that.
So, yeah, you sold me. I didn't even, the honeycomb.
I like that.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of cool.
I'll give it a B.
We're going to stick that in the B. Wow, so Arrow's really hitting with the B's.
Dude, you said this is one of your favorites.
So far.
This is our channel. Let's split the difference. Should it be an A?
Let me stick it with the other Arrows so far. Let's just see how this turns out, and then maybe we reserve the right to move some around after it's over.
We're actually just putting together by studio. we're tiering the studio.
So far,
Arrows B.
So far, Severin's an A. It's like funny. I wonder how this is going to work out.
Best company ever.
I know. I wonder how this is going to work out. All right, let's look at Criterion, Night of the Living Dead.
This is cool. I dig this.
I do too.
I dig this.
I've always loved the font for Night of the Living Dead, and I like how the characters in these zombie hands are represented on here.
And it reminds you of the original artwork, because the original artwork had that sort of drawing aspect to it, a collage.
Yeah.
It's an updated version of that. I like how it's black and white.
It's real, it's classy looking.
It really is.
And I think just the way that Criterion boxes look with their label on the front and their C up here, they always just have this air of superiority. I don't know what it is. Like Arrow's got their little A on there. Severin usually has their thing on the spine. Same thing with Scream Factory.
I always looked at Arrow.
Criterion puts it right on the front. They're telling you what's up.
Yeah. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was the lead dude ever on the cover before?
I don't know. You could be right. I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, that was a ballsy thing. Romero, that's one thing you got to give Night of the Living Dead props on. I mean, that came out in 68, and Romero intentionally cast a black man. That wasn't happening in 1968.
Yeah.
He did it to make a point and fuck racism and all that. And that's why I'm thinking, was he ever on any of the other covers? Because to my knowledge, that's the most prominent he's ever featured on a cover for Night of the Living Dead.
I don't know. I really like that. That's kind of giving me an A vibe.
I'm gonna go A with it too.
You gonna go with A on that?
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I like that.
Criterion, they do good work with their art.
They do. I wish I put the Videodrome Criterion up there too.
You know why Criterion nails it? We were talking about this with oh man, what title were we talking about this? They go for subtlety. Like Wall-E, that cover of Wall-E. You could have done some big spectacle, it's animation, but you literally chose the part where Wall-E's like on trash Earth. Not some space thing, not some the Malcolm X cover.
Oh,
that's just nice. Like him, like
it's graffiti in the background.
Yeah, like where he's giving a speech somewhere. It's not just some imposing grand picture, you know. I like it. It makes it feel more personal.
Well, here's a studio we haven't looked at yet. And that's Second Sight. And this is their version of The Witch. And while I love Second Sight, and I have this release because there's a lot of things to love about this movie and this release in general, I got to say I'm still underwhelmed by this art.
I like it.
I am underwhelmed by it. It's still, even in person, I looked at it, I was like, I wish it was, it doesn't need to be the poster art with just the black Phillip on it, but just the way that Anya Taylor-Joy looks. I feel like the likeness could have been a little bit better. I'm not sure. It's just not doing it for me all the way.
I like it because it reminds me of like a gothic horror novel, or maybe
it looks like a book. Yeah,
maybe even like the Scary Stories books, which the film gives me a vibe of.
Yeah,
it's like a gothic olden times. I like it. I'm with you. I never thought about it. That doesn't, the likeness of Anya Taylor-Joy is a little off.
It's okay. I'm feeling a C with that one.
C's fair.
You like C on that?
I think maybe personally I'd go fine. B, but I also know you're a bigger fan of the movie. I technically have never seen it.
I think it's fine, and we'll look at this list at the end and see if anything needs to be adjusted. But I feel like for now I'm liking that in a C. Let's go. Let's see here. Let's go to a movie that you enjoy. They didn't mess with the art too much here, but Scream. The regular edition Scream 4K that was released, I guess, last year at this point. They also had a steelbook that came out, which looks pretty cool, but I wanted to go with this one since it's got, I don't know, maybe more of a likeness to the original poster. Maybe
I just realized this, but it's Pulp Fiction looks a lot like this.
You're right.
They're both Miramax.
You're right.
90s. I like this.
You like this?
I like this. I was never a fan of the original Scream poster. And you ever notice after the original Scream poster, there were a ton of posters. The Faculty looked like that.
Yeah.
I just hated that. Like one big image and then the little heads down here.
Yeah.
It looks stupid.
I always like
made it look like Dawson's Creek or something, which Kevin Williamson, so okay. No, I like this. I like it. I even like how it's black and white and the blue and red. I never thought killing Drew Barrymore off in the beginning was as impactful as everyone says it is.
Yeah. Is that who this is supposed to be, you think, on the front? I don't know who that's. Is that who that's supposed
Drew
to be?
Barrymore.
Oh, okay.
Do you agree with me on that, though? Did that work for you? Because I know you didn't see Scream until recently. And, everyone compared it to Psycho. It's like, oh, my God, they killed Drew Barrymore in the first scene. It's like, I remember 1996. It's not like Drew Barrymore was on top of the world.
A-list actress, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that just seemed like something she would be in because her career is in the toilet now anyway.
Well, where are you at with that art then?
It's simple. Scream never had iconic artwork anyway, so I'm going to go B. There's nothing really you can do more or less with that.
I'll give you a B on that. I'll go with a B.
Yeah.
So how about going back to Scream Factory with Child's Play, their original art for Child's Play, the original Child's Play?
I like it. I like when Scream Factory does this style. Yeah, I like it. There's not, I mean, what can you say negative about it?
I agree. I don't think that it's not giving me like, holy shit, that's an S rank, but I do like the art here is great. It looks just like Chucky at his sort of final stage where he's kind of going bald a little bit. It's got, he's got that great look on his face. The knife is awesome. He's over like a smoky, living room. It's kind of spooky.
I always like that how Chucky ages.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like that process is going faster.
Yeah.
It makes him look more evil.
Yeah. I think this is perfect, to be honest. So I think that's an A for me.
I wouldn't say perfect.
Not perfect, but A. I'm going to give it an A. Perfect is the S rank. In our patented ranking scale, S is the best.
It's definitely, I'd put it above Candyman, Videodrome, and Tremors, so yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So let's see. Child's Play.
The bottom half is kind of goofy.
The living room shit?
Yeah. Like, really? The living room?
I don't know. Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
There should be something else there, you mean, instead of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
Charles Lee Ray.
Chris Sarandon or something. I don't know. Maybe even just a different location. It's just the living room.
Sounds like this is more of a B.
No, because it's done well. I just said, what else? What could you do?
What else can you do? Okay.
Yeah, for that style, they did well with that.
All right. Well, let's see if Arrow is going to continue its B streak with Demons.
That's pretty badass.
This is probably my favorite Arrow thing that I've seen in person because you have it.
Yes.
Mainly because when you look at this art, it's like, wow, that's awesome. It's a split TV. It's both movies. One's coming out of the theater. One's coming out of the television. It just looks so cool. But then also the box itself, which I know we're not really ranking here, but it splits apart.
Yeah.
That is so cool. We're just looking at art here. We're not ranking boxes, but damn, that box is cool.
And we're not ranking the movies if someone just tuned in.
Right. We are not ranking these movies, just what they look like. This I'm feeling, I've always loved how these demons look too, by the way.
That's an S, man. I'm giving this an S.
Ooh.
You have to, because you know what, dude. This had the task of showcasing two movies on one cover, as you said. One's the TV, one's the. I don't even think you've seen these movies, but that's the plot. The first one's in a movie theater, and the second one they're coming out of TVs. It looks badass. They managed to keep the integrity of the that original artwork for the first Demons, where it looks like the fog. I'm not sure if that's the original artwork, but whatever. This is better than that.
I think so too.
And like, yeah, dude, you haven't seen the movies, but I mean, those characters feature prominently in them. Yeah, that's S tier. I think they knocked that packaging and that artwork out of the fucking park.
Yeah, I feel like I just needed you to say that out loud because I think that was what's in my heart. It is awesome. The demons have always looked so cool. The reproduction on here, whoever drew this, like nailed it. Exactly their look, exactly how terrifying they appear to look. They're looking right at you. The concept of both movies. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you.
That's an S tier one.
That's an S tier.
And like you said, having it open in the middle and pull out from both sides, that was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, just to have the box be awesome too on top of the art.
Yeah.
Awesome. S tier. Congratulations, Arrow. You got one in the S, baby. You're up there with the big dogs.
The only big dog.
The only big dog so far. Let's look at just a couple more. Let's look at one more sort of regular studio release, and that's The Thing. And The Thing Steelbook that was exclusive to Best Buy. You've got here some icy sort of scenery with the melding of the two faces. I think this is what they find in the ship before shit starts to go wrong. What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't love it. The Thing is one of those titles. There's so much goddamn artwork, so many releases, so many. And honestly, I don't have like one go-to. That's funny because I have a tattooed on my arm. The cover, the old school cover with the shadow type, you know. I ultimately prefer that over everything else. This gives me the vibes of the reboot / sequel.
Okay.
I could be worse. I've seen worse. I'll go C.
Go C with this one?
I would go C. What would you go?
I'm in the C to D area myself. I almost don't want to put this next to The Witch. I feel like this is more close to Poltergeist. I don't think it's as good as Halloween.
I'm with you, but remember, I thought the Witch cover wasn't too bad. So now I'm judging it on I'd rather have that Witch cover than this. So it's D.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it's D for me because I think Halloween is way better than it. I don't think it can stand in the same league with that either. I think it's. There, like you said, there's a ton of great art already out there. So many different options. I think they just went with something that they hadn't done yet, basically. And I don't know.
The Thing would be a perfect movie. See, this is what bugs me about this cover. For me, The Thing is the type of film, go one of two ways with the artwork. Subtle, just show me snow and a dog.
Yeah.
Either do that or really showcase one of the gruesome special effects, works and within the film. And to me, this is trying to do both, and then it just neuters both concepts.
Yeah.
It neuters the isolation aspect, and it neuters the incredible effects work in it. It doesn't showcase either. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think it's, I don't know. There's just even the original art's 1,000 times better, but I guess we're looking at alternate art, and that's what this is. All right, so let's see, 2 more.
Is Demons going to be the champion?
We'll see. Army of Darkness Steelbook from Scream Factory. Now, they put out their original edition with the original poster, but they put this alternate art out for their Steelbook. And what do you think about this?
Let me think about it here. I'm trying to compare it to every iteration of Army of Darkness I have owned and seen over the years. You may hate me for this one. This is probably the best.
You mean as far what's on the ranking? You think this is an S? Is that what you're saying?
I'm torn between an A and an S.
My first thought was A, because I do think, as far as an illustration is concerned, it looks awesome. The original poster art is just so great, but I think what this is capturing here, how Bruce Campbell looks, how the Deadite commander looks, you've got skeletons, shit's on fire, his friend back here in his armor. I mean, it's just, and not to mention too, when you open it up, the scene continues. Mm-hmm. That whole thing is cool. Again, we're not rating the box, but I'm feeling definitely an A. Definitely an A. I don't know about S, but I'm definitely an A.
I'm going to go A. Same thing as you said, and what I love about it the most, and this is why I was considering it an S. This style has been done by Scream Factory. Mm-hmm. They've done it with Friday the 13th. I believe they're doing it with Carrie as well. To me, the type of movie Army of Darkness is, which is the medieval action comedy sci-fi romp, I feel like that style fits it perfectly. The colors, all of it. Whereas Friday the 13th doing that collage style is awesome, looks great, but doesn't really capture the movies to me. I feel like that captures Army of Darkness in a comic way.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome. Yeah. I think that's really cool.
Why didn't you get that?
Because I told you, I thought I was going to get that nice hard box.
I would have told you no, dude. You should have asked me. The only one I've ever received like that was Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Why?
Which wasn't
how do
even,
we know?
Wasn't even 4K release.
I know. How do we know, though? How can we tell what that's going to be?
But I'm with you on that because I like those styles too. But I mean, if you're such a fan of this artwork, you should have just did that, dude.
I'm more of a fan of the original artwork. And if I had a nice hard box with that, that's fine for me. But you're right. Now I'm sad that I didn't. What about this? We just talked about this, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. New art for them. The iconic art is not here. You can, it's on the flip side, but this is what they're giving you from them. What do you think?
Really cool. It's the first artwork I've seen where they're kind of playing with the blue, purplish, neon type colors, which feature towards the end of it. But it's also hard because, damn, that Breakfast Club homage is just so cool.
Yeah.
And so basic. And so, God, it's just so exactly what you're getting with the movie. But this is awesome. This is awesome too. I'm gonna have to go B just because, man, it has to live in the shadow of that original artwork. It just does.
But just on its own, you think it's a B? I was thinking A, but I could see I could go B.
The only reason I'm going B over A is because it looks a little too serious for me. It's really cool, but it almost gives me vibes. We were discussing Inside recently. Yeah. It almost gives me that brown, scary vibe that is. Does that make sense to you?
I see what you mean.
It's almost too horrific for what the movie is, and that's why I got to deduct some points off it. Okay. That being said, holy shit, it's awesome.
Holy shit, it's awesome. All right. I don't know. What do you think? Is this a good list here? Do we need? Is this where it should stand? I mean, I don't know if we've American Werewolf in London. This one's very busy to me.
Yeah.
They're trying to cram a lot into this picture.
Look, remember that famous transformation scene? It's in this movie. Just look at the cover. Look, it's right there in case you were wondering.
It's everywhere. And I don't mind it in person, but there is a lot going on here. There's a lot. I think.
First off, for how much there's going on in there, can you pull it back up for a second? Why didn't they get one of the coolest scenes in the whole damn movie? Is when
the ending? He's like laying there
Him
naked.
No. When he's having the dream and he like looks over, and like that vampire. Put that floating head in there. Why do we got the dude at the slaughtered lamb? Like, who cares?
Yeah. True.
Why is he there?
Who knows? I'm feeling a strong C on this one.
Exactly.
I'm feeling a strong C on that. And I guess, Russ, is that the end? I think that could be the end.
Unless you have some something waiting in the cut that's gonna blow our minds, and that's not it.
I got The Fog, and I've got Children of the Corn.
I've never seen Children of the Corn, so I can't really tell if that's good, bad.
This Fog to me looks like a D, and Children of the Corn to me is C, B area. I'm gonna go B just because I think this kid looks badass, and all this shit going on down here looks pretty cool.
But it does look cool, but like I said, I'm afraid to rank it because if it's not in line with the film, I'll feel foolish.
I don't care about what the film's doing. I'm gonna give The Fog. That's gonna go a D for me. Is The Fog.
And actually, what I just said about Army of Darkness, The Fog, Jesus Christ, that's not the movie to have this hyper comic book style artist. No. It's just not that. Army of Darkness, totally not The Fog.
Yeah, I feel like this to me is better. I don't know. I feel like, what do you think?
I'll throw it in B because it is cool. Like I said, I'm just hesitant on it because I've never seen the film, but that is a good cover.
All right, well, there's the final list. The only one to make an S rank is Demons. And then with A, Don't Go in the House, Night Killer, Night of the Living Dead, Child's Play, and Army of Darkness, Steelbook. B, Tremors, Videodrome, Candyman, Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from Vinegar Syndrome and Children of the Corn. C was Halloween from Scream Factory, The Witch from Second Sight, American Werewolf in London from Arrow. Down in the D's is Poltergeist and The Thing, and the F of the year is The Lost Boys. Terrible. Terrible. But that is our patented ranking segment that is going to ignite the interwebs, and I'm sure you're going to see so many other videos like this out there. This is an original concept, but we do thank everybody for tuning in, everybody for listening. If you are listening to this in your car, you could come and check us out on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you should come back and check this out on Spotify. Listen to it in your car. Listen to us. Check us out everywhere.
And let us know in the comments if you agree, disagree, if we got it completely wrong or if we got it completely right. We want to hear from you.
Definitely.
But we definitely got it right on that Demons being S tier.
Definitely.
Let us. Yeah. You're on the wrong channel if you think that is an S tier.
Yeah. Let us know where you would have put these. And anything else you got, Russ, for the people?
Long live the new flesh.